In the last 3 years, my friend Rami was starting to envision this place of Lighthouse that will bring consciousness to this situation of Gaza, but also for a possibility of change. In the last months, he already started creating this place, inviting every Friday people to come here. This place in which we were gathering, it's called the Lighthouse. We called it the Lighthouse, and the meaning of this name is that we wanted to create a source of light and hope, and also the vision of a transformation process. And we were challenging ourselves to see a vision, to step beyond what's visible and see how can there be a change.
I feel like Gaza is like a blind spot of the whole world. We don't want to look at it. We want to close our eyes, we think it's too uncomfortable, it's too difficult. But we have to look at it. We have to open our eyes and see that there are 2 million people living there. 1 million children of them who don't have any future left.
We wanted to get closer to Gaza. As we cannot cross the border on a physical level so far, we wanted to use technology to cross the border and have a direct contact with somebody from Gaza. And during the retreat, we got to know that many of our cooperation partners, they got threats from the Hamas that if they will join us, it will be considered as normalization. And nevertheless, there was one woman who heard about this event and found a way to create contact with us.
She said, I saw what is happening on the fence. I will not go there. I went there once for an hour and I will not go there because I don't want to die. She's not in that level of despair of saying, I have nothing to lose. But again, still, how do you protest? How do you express to the world what is your situation? These are very delicate questions. I don't want to pretend that I have answers.
Through this talk, Gaza actually gained a face and a voice. And we also had a glimpse to the difficulty of being in Gaza. We heard about her hobbies, about her dreams, and also about how she managed to keep her heart open with hope for a change. Not being taken by the hatred and by the hostility. I feel that it's very important that in our gathering now in the last 3 days, we had around 8 people who live in the villages actually of this area. These are people who also live this reality of bombs, of missiles, of kites with fires around their house, so they also leave this conflict zone. And I feel there is an expectation that either you empathize and bring compassion to one side or to the other. But this reality of fear is inflicted on both sides, and children cannot go to sleep, and mothers are afraid for their children. So for sure, a humane heart will say, I stand for the ending of this reality, and I empathize with both sides. And I feel if we are about to bring change, it's only if we find the courage to bring compassion and empathy for both sides. And I know it's not so popular because most of humanity is divided between bringing empathy to one side or to the other side. And I feel I need to be courageous to say I bring compassion for both sides.
Yeah, of course you always have the narrative in a war that if you make contact with the enemy, you're a traitor, or you're into normalization or collaboration, and we know it from the Second World War, the collaborators were the worst people. I know, for instance, coming to Jericho for 15 years, there's a big red sign which says dangerous, don't go in here. That's part of the policy of war.
The tumor of fear is a complex that is sitting inside of us. Whether you are Israeli or Palestinian, it's the same aspect of fear. And the system is always using conditions to activate this fear. So we stay paralyzed because of our fear. Because of our fear we have to protect. Because of the Holocaust we have to protect.
I was going a lot with the thought of what Palestinians need to hear from Israelis, or what people from Gaza need to hear from Israelis, and also what people from Israel need to hear from Gazans. I feel that as Israelis we need to know that there are people there who don't identify with their government, who don't identify with Hamas, who don't identify with violence means for making a change. So this is what the Israeli side need to hear. And I feel what Gazans need to hear is first that we see them, that we are aware of our responsibility. So when I look at this event, I feel there is still a voice that was not loud enough. Like if I hear what the Palestinian ear needs to hear from us, is that we are sorry. Like even if we didn't do the horrible things, that we are sorry that our collective caused so much pain to their collective. And I feel like with Asfa, I'm sorry.
Because many of us, we've already participated in so many gatherings, so many demonstrations and so many actions, hoping that one action, one single gathering will change something. We arrive into places where we get frustrated, and then we start disconnecting the value of change from our actions. And this places exactly the system of being indifferent is interesting, because you start feeling you are nothing, and you have no value of changing something. Although not always I see the connection between the action and the result, I keep doing the good things that I believe that are needed.
It was very powerful to have this walk toward Gaza. Also on an emotional level, or a symbolic level, it's meaning we walk toward you. We don't just stay in our homes listening to the news through our media, but we want to get closer with our bodies and with our hearts. It's not enough to pray, it's not enough to empathize. Palestinians really need to know that there are Israelis who are active in ending the occupation. Like walking through this burnt field, seeing how much of the landscape is burnt around. It's a very powerful vision to look at the burnt fields and feeling the frustration and the pain of both sides actually.
Gaza is fully forgotten, not only by the Israelis, by the world. And it's not okay.
This wasn't a one-time event. This lighthouse has a tomorrow. It has a vision to go on until there are no borders, until we are managing to overcome the hostilities.